Step 1. Establishing tactical identity. The first step for Slot's plan has been to immediately establish his tactical identity onto the team. In fact, he did it so well that according to McAllister, the team was super impressed by Slot's understanding of the game when they met him in preseason.
Tactically, he's very good. He tries to be in every detail.
Salah himself said in an interview with Sky Sports that while Slot's new style is different, he is enjoying it.
Sometimes we just go counter press and just try to attack them all the time in their half. But here we need to control the game. Sometimes we slow the game down, but it's part of the plan.
Slot was recruited by Edwards due to the fact that his style is very similar to Jurgen Klopp. But while the German liked heavy metal football, Slot likes controlled rock and roll. The Dutch Lex Luthor still wants to attack and be dynamic going forward, but he prefers a more balanced approach to it. This is why Liverpool now maintain more possession and often slow down the tempo of the game. In Slot's first 11 Premier League games with Liverpool, his team recorded the third highest average possession in the league. Now this wasn't just possession for the sake of keeping possession. Slot's side still pushed many players forward. As a result, they also ranked third in that period for total passes into the final third, behind only Manchester City and Tottenham. They were also second for progressive passes that pushed the team forward. At the beginning of his reign, Klopp would have Liverpool on the front foot from the first whistle, but under Slot, the first halves were sometimes super slow. This is because Liverpool controlled the ball to get a better understanding of where to hurt the opposition. In fact, if you have watched any clip of Slot's interviews or post-match press conferences, he has already revealed his secrets and what his plan is for the Liverpool team. So much so that some people have become worried that he's giving away all his secrets. Football is a game filled with secrecy, with managers traditionally not saying that much. However, Slot is very open when it comes to discussing his tactics and why he makes the decisions he makes. Just look at these clips right here.
Well, but their fullbacks are 9 or 10 times really high.
Different systems, which is something is really hard because that means that you leave 3 defenders against 3 strikers.
Step 2. Leveraging the 4-2-3-1 formation. Formations are very flexible these days and change on the fly, but Slot regularly uses a 4-2-3-1, which is different from Klopp's flat 4-3-3. The German like playing with one holding midfielder, while Slot prefers a double pivot. Slot's wingers, usually Mohamed Salah and one of Luis Diaz or Cody Gakpo, maintain the width. That puts them in positions to attack the opponent 1v1 as often as possible, with Salah and Diaz being in the Premier League's top 30 for total dribbles. The single center forward, sometimes being Diego Jota or Darwin Núñez and even Diaz as of late, creates space for the midfielders to run into by pinning and occupying the defenders. Between the double pivots, Gravenberch plays as the deepest pivot, while McAllister or Curtis Jones have the freedom to get more forward. Gravenberch actually comes in and supports the 2 center backs in the build-up, especially against a compact low block. Against a higher block, when there's space available, whoever's playing in the number 10 role, whether it be Jones or Szoboszlai, they try and exploit the opposition backline with central runs from deep. But as I said, the whole structure is very dynamic and adaptable, which I will explain further in step 6. Step 3. Maximizing fullback contributions. Fullbacks are an important part of Slot's system. Because Slot's Liverpool have the fluidity in the inside channel spaces, it keeps it open for various players to move into. The fullbacks, whether it be Robbo and Tsimikas on the left or Trent and Bradley on the right, move slightly inside to support short passes into the central areas. As Slot discussed with Jamie Carragher in one of his first interviews, he likes his fullbacks to not be too wide, to both offer a safer passing option and so they can cover ground faster defensively in case the team loses the ball.
So if you are playing closer to each other, then the ball goes faster from one foot to another, and that gives less time to the opponent to defend.
Now of course, Slot has still given them the freedom to push forward. Sometimes he will have the wingbacks overlap, but in other circumstances they will go under the winger. Trent in particular has moved into a different role where he can still use his penetrative passing. He isn't being asked to overlap as much, but often he will invert into the middle of the park where he can still use his exceptional passing to carve out low blocks or start a counter from deep. I mean, just look at this guy's pass to Salah against West Ham. My god, it's defying physics. The 2 defenders who have played the most long passes for Liverpool are Trent and Van Dijk. They had also passed into the final third more than anyone else on the Liverpool team. In fact, the Van Dijk diagonal long ball to Salah is a passage of play that has been very successful for the Reds. Step 4. Amplifying Mohamed Salah's role. Getting the best out of Liverpool has typically meant getting the best out of Salah, which Slot has definitely done. Salah has been by far and away the best player in the Premier League. In fact, arguably the best player in the world. He is at the top for both goals and assists. Now what Slot has done to improve Salah's game is he's having the central midfielders make a lot of decoy runs to open the space for the Egyptian. Szoboszlai is the best at it, where he will make a run through the middle diagonally in front of Salah behind the fullback in order to isolate Salah in a 1v1 situation. Then from there, Salah can decide whether he wants to beat his man and score like he did against Brighton, or if he wants to make a cross to the back post like he did against Chelsea. Liverpool's numbers in the front line also gave Salah a lot of options to combine with, teammates to create for. You got runs from the other side of the pitch from Diaz or Gakpo, or more central runs from deep via Jones or Szoboszlai, providing him with enough options and variety to really punish teams. The beauty of Salah is that he can use his pace to punish teams on the counter, but he can also unlock a low block. I mean, you don't even have to look further than his performance against Newcastle, where he punished the defense in every single possible way. His movement, along with his ability to manipulate the opponent in a 1v1 situation, along with his desire to outrun defenders and to score, makes it very easy for Slot to organize the attack with him. Slot immediately saw what Salah's strengths were and utilized those to his advantage, hence why the Egyptian is having one of his best ever seasons. Step 5. Adapting the defensive structure with the 4-2-4 shape. Defensively, Liverpool set up in a 4-2-4. Slot also utilizes the same shape in the press and when Liverpool are in a more reserved mid-block. In this shape, Liverpool start compact, then jump with purpose when there's an opportunity to press. Slot often has one of the central midfielders push higher to work alongside the center forward. The wingers then come in a more narrow shape, helping to cut off passes played on the outside shoulder of the front pair that are pressing. This movement helps limit the opposing number 8s from receiving the ball on the half turn in the little pockets of space. Szoboszlai was often the one to join the first line when defending, leaving McAllister and Gravenberch as the deeper pair. The two have actually been really good in their new defensive role, with the Argentine ranking 23rd in the Premier League for total defensive duels and his teammate Gravenberch being ranked 28th. The Dutchman was also 13th for total interceptions, as his and McAllister's energy, timing, and overall defensive presence have really protected the central spaces underneath the front line. What's great about the two is that when they do get the ball back, they have a calm range of passing to be able to quickly and purposefully feed the players in front of them. Then if you can somehow get by the midfield, you still have to get past the brick wall of Van Dijk and Konate. Slot's trusted center-back partnership has been dominant and shown that they can deal with elite opposition as their levels have not dropped throughout the season. The two can dominate in the air, on the ground, they're both comfortable with the ball at their feet. It's genuinely frightening to run into both of them at the same time. Step 6. Tactical flexibility and in-game adjustments. The reason that Arne Slot doesn't mind being open about his tactics is because he's so adaptable. For him, every game is a new puzzle to solve. He understands that to be a top manager, tactical flexibility, it's a non-negotiable. He will constantly change how the team is building up on the fly and make tactical tweaks. A big factor has been him changing the way Liverpool press the opposition and increasing the intensity and aggression of the press in the second half. If you actually look at this table below from The Athletic, Liverpool have consistently turned around games in the second half. Against Brighton, for example, Slot changed the press to force them to go long more and have the midfield be more compact. Against Leverkusen, Slot had McAllister take on a more advanced position to push Leverkusen to go backwards more.
The second half we could adjust to the game plan of the first half. We took a bit more risk, we were better with the ball as well, normally they defend more in a 5-2-3.
The increase in pressure caused Xabi Alonso's team to rush passes and it disrupted their control of the match. Liverpool actually opened the scoring after a forced error that led to a Liverpool throw-in. Then when they have been in the lead, having more control has become essential. It's been one of the most obvious differences between Slot's Liverpool side and Klopp's. Liverpool averaged 50% possession or more in every second half of games so far, except for their first game against Chelsea. Before, under Klopp, Liverpool were often playing matches that looked like a basketball game, just constantly back and forth, even when Liverpool had the lead. Despite being ahead, they would keep going for more goals. But Slot has made sure that game management is being used. Look at the game against Aston Villa, where after Liverpool took the lead, the Claret and Blue didn't get any more opportunities, and actually ended up conceding another goal. Slot has also been super creative and adaptable with his starting lineup due to injuries. One of his biggest tweaks have come from him getting creative in the number 9 position due to Jota's injury. Against Leverkusen, we saw the first use of Luis Diaz in a central role, and it worked as the Colombian picked up a hat-trick. It was a way of disrupting Leverkusen's center-back Ta, who was more used to playing against a target man rather than someone who operates in the middle. How do I know this? Because once again, Slot was very open about his decision in the post-match press conference.
A few things. I only have four attackers available at the moment, with the injuries of Diogo Jota and Federico Chiesa. And Darwin didn't play that much in the beginning. Then he started to play a bit more. But yeah, with this fixture list, it's almost impossible to play them all, especially if you haven't played that many games before. So that, in combination with the fact that I think Tahu's a real good defender and is one of the best defenders in Germany, maybe the best defender in Germany, and he likes to play more against the target man, someone who's there in the middle. And we chose to play Lucio more from the left or to the midfield, and then maybe surprise him afterwards with runs in behind, not only him but in general.
His blueprint has been out there, I'm just putting it together for you guys to see. Step 7. Managing the players. This step has been seamless for Slot. When a legendary figure like Klopp leaves a club, there are always concerns that the players won't enjoy the replacement. For many, it feels like their real father is being replaced by a stepfather. But Slot has been excellent at not only getting his ideas across to the players, but making sure the players are comfortable with the transition. That hasn't been easy, especially since he came at a time where all the talk is about the contract situations of Trent, Van Dijk, and Salah. While some players like Mohamed Salah have been vocal about the situation, Slot has done an excellent job in dodging the questions. He answers them well, but in a way that doesn't lead to more headlines. Look at the joke he made when he was asked about Salah's comments about being more out than in.
The only thing I can say is if I look at my lineups, Mo is more in than out.
Or when he discussed Trent's goal against West Ham.
He's playing really well, scored a great goal, and the way he celebrated his goal probably tells you enough. So I don't think I have to say much more about it.
He keeps it fun, but also at the same time deflects the question. Slot's great man management can be seen in the way that he has rejuvenated certain players at the club. Gravenberch had barely played for Klopp, but now he's one of the best midfielders in the league. If there was a most improved player award, he would win it. Slot then got the best out of Gakpo again by playing him in his natural position. Klopp kept using him as a striker or as a central midfielder, but Slot has put him back on the left wing where he has the freedom to cut inside. Curtis Jones has also gotten plenty of opportunities and has really elevated his game. The fact that Liverpool can consistently rotate the team without any players having their ego bruised is a testament to Slot's great managerial skills. Step 8. Competing for major trophies. This step has come a lot earlier than I think anyone could have expected. Liverpool are on track to win multiple pieces of silverware. Despite only one new signing in Chiesa, a player who has barely actually participated, the Liverpool team has been one of the most elite teams in the world. They are rock solid defensively, but are still lethal on the attack, and now have an ability to control the tempo of games. They are following Slot's blueprint and are well ahead of schedule. Now, one of the steps of the blueprint that I haven't shared with you guys has to do with Slot's use of McAllister. Nobody has talked about it yet, but I have a video dedicated to the topic. You have to watch it right here.